Swing big and save even bigger with our Big League Markdowns at Capital Ford and Santa Fe. This is your shot at big league deals, like a new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT 4-wheel drive Power Boost Hybrid, now up to $9,900 off MSRP, or a new 2026 Ford F-250 Super Duty, now up to $6,100 off MSRP. We're offering up home run deals all day, every day, with these Big League Markdowns at Capital Ford and Santa Fe.
Who says time travel isn't possible? That you can't go back 400 years in a single afternoon to a place where free spirits still run free, where things made by hand make memories, where a getaway feels like you're getting a world away. There are so many things that make the city different, and so much more waiting to be uncovered.
Fe Gloom live stream. We're back. Coach Pat, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you can hear me okay, and admiring that trophy over there.
Yeah, I think it needs to see if we can get a little louder.
Can you hear me now, Coach?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Better.
Coach Pat, thanks for jumping on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. For our viewers, Coach Pat also coaches a pro team, New Mexico FC in Albuquerque. So it's a challenge to get Coach Pat and myself in one room to talk footy. But Coach Pat, thank you so much for jumping on. You're new to the New Mexico, or you're new to the Santa Fe community, I should say. But give us kind of your first impression of Santa Fe futsal, and just kind of walk our audience through just your first impressions.
Coming from the East Coast, we have a lot of sports. We have a lot of sports venues. There's a lot of sports towns, a lot of sports cities. And so sports has always been, a huge part of my life. It's always been everything that's kind of run my life, which is why I've chosen as a profession to coach. And I think Santa Fe is one of those cities that is they're looking for that kind of sports kind of community. And so I loved seeing all the people that came out and supported. And like I've told you, David, many times, I told the league, I think we have the best fans in the league. And I think we have the best, home games in the league. And I think it helps our guys come out and train and play hard and do the little things, because we have the guys, the people in the crowd, and we have the families that are coming out and supporting us. And so it creates a whole futsal environment that for kids that are looking at maybe wanting to get into the game, why wouldn't they want to? You know what I mean?
For sure. I think that's something that we take huge pride on, is having lots of fans, just people having a great time at our games. We had Sergio on last week, and I kind of hammered him early on with a couple questions with our first game and what it felt like being down 6-0 at halftime that first game.
I think we had one.
Was it?
I mean, 5. Yeah.
I stand corrected. 5-1, 6-0. Tell our viewers just kind of what that experience was like, that first 20 minutes of futsal for your career.
It was frustrating. It was definitely frustrating, because obviously you want to come out and you want to put on a good product, and you want to have the start of the season strong, so that the guys can come out and then have something to kind of will on for the next game and the next season, and to start the season strong. And so to come out in the first 20 minutes and be down 6-1, and to kind of have come goals, be like bam, 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 bam. It's like, all right, welcome to the league, And so for me, I loved how the guys responded, because we did come out in the second half and it was a totally different game. And so we did, narrow it down to only lose 11-7. And I think it was close there. It was like 7-5. for a long time and like 8-6 and like stuff like that. So like it's not like we weren't in the game in the second half. So it's really like how we responded. But of course, you want to come out and you want to be up 5-0 in the first half and be like, all right, everything's working great. But, you know, everything good comes with time. So, you know, it was kind of like, all right, this is the challenge. Let's see what our guys got, you know. So it's just how you respond when those kind of things happen.
Yeah, and let's back up a little bit too, and kind of fast forward all kind of at the same time, and you'll understand when I ask this. Coach Pat, one thing that I really like about you is that you see the opportunity of futsal in the Santa Fe community and just abroad, because the outdoor game, you know, is obviously I don't want to use the word like saturated, but it's, you know, it's the most popular game in the world, right? And I feel like futsal is such a fundamental base for so many of these great soccer players. So kind of just give us your opinion on how valuable futsal is and like how much respect you now give the game since being coach with the Gloom.
I mean, I think it's impeccable for if we want to get serious as a nation and win an actual World Cup, which coming up on Friday, we'll see how we do. But I think if you incorporate, let's say we incorporate futsal on a high level in the elite level game from, you know, U17 down, and the next 4 years, let's see if our players are more technical than they are right now. And I think the proof will be kind of in the pudding, and you'll see how much more, you know, United States, we've always been athletic. We've always been able to create goalkeepers and center backs and, you know, and these big donkey type players and be able to run and be athletes, but we've never been able to be technical and be able to have, and that's where Brazil comes in with the flair, and Spain and Argentina and Uruguay and some of these other countries. And if you look at their youth model from the age of 3 until probably around the age of 9, they don't play 7v7 and 9v9 like we do. Yeah. We play 7v7, 9v9, where you have 3 kids on the ball the entire game and 4 kids standing around watching. And then you have coaches that don't really understand that they need to be in a 2-4-1 in a 7v7 instead of like a 3-back where you got 2 players standing and 1 player running around. So instead, Brazil, they're playing 3v3. They're playing 5v5. They're playing 3v3. They're playing, and same in Spain, these other countries. And look at the players they produce. I mean, they have world-class players, and they're players that are young that are coming on the game that are world-class. And so if we want to get serious about a state and creating better players as a state and having players from New Mexico go into United, and so that United has more local players, and having local teams that are winning regionally in the youth game and winning nationally in the youth game, futsal has to be incorporated. It has to be, because if we don't, we're going to be just left behind.
Yeah, I agree. Follow-up question to that is, how do we do that? And this might be a little bit of a teaser too. And I know we've been brainstorming with Sergio. How do we integrate youth futsal with the Santa Fe Gloom? Like, just kind of give us a broad stroke, just some fundamental baselines on what you think is the best way to structure it. And that's a tough one. I know, because
big question, dude.
We're still trying to brainstorm that. So
I'm giving question. You know, we've talked about it. I think you start small. I think a lot of the times in the youth game, you see some of these clubs, and like in Florida, I just saw an article where 5 clubs just merged. That's like, what? That's insane. So you're talking like, how many kids are getting left behind? How many kids are not getting looked at? How many kids are not getting the actual value of the coaching and the education of the game that they should be getting? So they don't continue playing, or they quit, or they don't, you know, they're just a number, or they're just, you know, a customer at that point. Right. And so for us, I think it's smart to start small. You know, I think the Gloom family, like we're an inclusive family, but we're a family. And I think you don't want to get super big so that you can't be a family anymore. And I think I've been a part of big clubs. I've been a part of small clubs. And I love the positive things about a small club. Now, can you do as much as like a big club when it comes to money and some of the other things? No. So you might have to be smarter in other ways. But can you offer more for the kids? And when it comes to actual futsal and quality on the court, I think it's going to be, it'll be way more, right? And I think Santa Fe, would value that more. They don't have to drive to Albuquerque as much, right? If they have quality, they have more opportunity in their own city to rep their own city and to go play in Phoenix and go play in Colorado and rep Santa Fe, and be from, and rep it and win and be quality. And then as they grow and they compete, they can come into the pro pathway and they can see it and they can see the pathway. For me, like growing up in North Carolina, I had multiple older teammates and friends that played in college and went and played in the pros and went and played professional 7v7 and professional futsal. And so I was able to see it. And in New Mexico, there aren't as many people doing that. So there's not as many opportunities for kids to see that. And I think for the Gloom, that's something that we can offer that's big for the community. And so if we have our youth component, then there's a ladder for them. And then they're playing in 3 to 4 years. We have 3 starters that were in our academy. So, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Or 3 players that are in our that are in our rotation from our academy. And we're looking to build the academy, or we get, a United States futsal player from our academy. And we do stuff like that, and we get kids that maybe go and play in Brazil and come back and have those other opportunities. And I think it starts with, offering a pathway, but you got to start small.
I'd like to give a shout out to Futsal News. Thank you guys so much for providing all the good futsal content, and definitely want you guys back on our show. So thanks, Futsal News. Jake, you guys do a great product. And Coach Pat, talk to our audience about how we kind of changed our season around, winning. I think it was probably 2 out of the last 3 games, I believe.
3 out of the last 4.
3 out of the last 4. Again, I stand corrected.
It was maybe 3 of the last 5 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was something like that.
What were some of the elements that we put into place to make that happen? Because we beat Brusa, who's the defending national champion, or 2-time defending national champion. And I feel like we had them pretty much the whole game, and that was towards the end of the season. So moving into season 4, like, how do we keep that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, I took over 11 days before our first game. So it was always going to be like a challenge of coming in and like seeing the roster, right? I didn't pick this roster. It was just the roster that was kind of coming in. So I didn't have an off season, which an off season is huge, right? So now we're getting a full off season, which is massive. But so coming in, we wanted to establish an identity. So we started with a 3-1, and I think before, and you could correct me, but I was watching some video earlier. It looked like a lot of times they were playing a 2-2. And so throughout the season, you could tell they would go back to 2-2, and we would struggle when we were in a 2-2. And so we always tried to play a 3-1. And so, but they would always kind of go back and trying to get in that 2-2. And so when we changed to a 4-0, and we put more of our athletic players on the field, on the court, and we played more of a free-flowing 4 where it was just 4 rotating. I think that opened up our creativity more, and so we were able to counter more. And so we defended really, really well, and we established that if we defend well and we pick up the ball when they send numbers, we're going to be able to counter. And if we're more athletic than them and more quicker than them, then we're going to be able to get numbers ahead, and we're going to be able to score. And that's, if you look at a lot of our goals that we scored, and I think we had a couple goals of the month, shout out to those players, but they were always counters. They were combinations and quick counters. And some of our combo plays towards the end of the season was phenomenal. And so it's just continuing to build that creativity and to build on that structure of a 4-0. And now we've had an off season where we've been able to recruit players, and we're bringing in some new talent that is going to add to a system that we already know is working with the players that we have, right? Where coming in last season, we didn't even know what system. We couldn't even spell system at that point. So, now we have a lot more sense of who we are. And so coming in, we're going to be able to start on the front foot rather than be like, all right, shake hands basically and start over. Where this season, it's like, all right, we know who's coming in. We're bringing in some extra firepower to help the core that we have, and we're going to go hopefully go win a trophy. And that's what the goal is. And that's what the expectation is making it to nationals.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to a comment. What role do community partners and sponsors play in expanding futsal locally and throughout the state? So really good question. Loaded question. I can go on for
That's
days.
a you question.
This is our bread and butter. But Coach Pat, I'm going to throw this on you, but I'm going to tee you up perfectly. Coach Pat, we went, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, we went to Coachity Lake.
Yeah.
We were there bright and early, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and we taught futsal to the youth, to the Native American, northern New Mexico tribes, and I think even southern New Mexico. So, yeah. Coach Pat, just kind of expand just on what I'm talking about and how powerful that was for you and I, and how fun that was. We put some pictures on our Instagram on there, and it was at Coachity Lake, and just trying to give our viewers, and I wish we could have outlined that a lot more. That picture did not do it justice, but we had a blast.
And it was almost hard to take pictures because we were having so many.
No, for sure.
But I mean, there's always something about teaching a sport that I love. I mean, I have such a passion for it, and it's done so much for me in my life that if I can help someone else or another kid get an experience through the game that I've had, or a better experience than myself, then that's what I want to do. And so it was awesome to see kids that, might be playing other sports, baseball, or they might not have been playing sports. They might be more artistic, or they might be doing, more music and more stuff like that. Just having a blast playing futsal. And so being able to work with the community partnership like that was amazing. And to tell them, like, we're the closest pro team to you guys. Like, this is something we want to know you guys. We want to come out and we want to, help you guys out. So if we can be a resource, we want to be there for you. So it was awesome to, teach the kids the sport and see them laugh and have fun and kick the ball and, and have the next one come in and then, see the next group come in and do it again, so.
Yeah, it was great. Shout out to Dr. Sanchez, who helped put that together for us. When she had reached out, we had really good conversation with her, and just saying, well, how do you teach kids futsal? And we were like on sand, I guess. I don't know what it was, sand or
yeah.
It
wasn't necessarily a futsal setting, but we made it work.
It worked.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. And last year too, Coach Pat, we went out to another local school, and we just played outside with like goat heads and like, that's not the point. The surface is not the point. The point is like us being out there and being with the kiddos and just having fun. It's really that simple. Just learning life skills along the way, and competition and fun, and just being fearless and just going out there and taking what we have and just making it better.
Yeah, we used an old tennis court to play futsal growing up. That's what we had, because we knew we could turn the lights on and it could be on till midnight. And so we had it from 8 to midnight or whatever, and it was cracking and falling apart. But we could take the nets off and put our goals on there, and we were able to play futsal for 4 hours whenever we wanted, and so that's what we had. And we made it work, fence falling apart, but it's what we had, and I think it's still there. I think kids are still playing on it. So, long live.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's one thing that like we can all relate to is we've all played futsal at one time. It was just really outside in the dirt or on the pavement somewhere. We put our backpacks, those were goals.
Yep.
And that's it. Have at it, right? So,
yep.
Very good question again. Would like to thank all of our sponsors up on that top banner, because if it wasn't for all of their support, the Gloom would not be what the Gloom is. Again, we're attacking the crowd, and it's great. Coach Pat.
And with this community sponsors and sponsorships, like the more that we have and the more community people that we can work with, the more that we can offer to the kids. And the less that we can do for player fees and all that kind of stuff, so that we can offer more, so they can have more opportunity for travel and to have those experiences, right? Because we have to keep the lights on, and we have to have, the world has to go around. But at the same time, if we have good sponsors and people that we want to work with that can help us, then we can offer more and then we can do. So, it's a main pillar of what we do, so that we can do more. So it's super important. So I just wanted to add that as well.
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly what the Gloom is. It's all about partnerships and sponsorships throughout the community. Because again, for our viewers and listeners, our Gloom games are 100% free for the entire community. I mean, there's not many things that are free these days, much less the quality of production that we have throughout our games. So, Coach Pat, I don't know if you want to speak on any of that too. Just like I had asked Sergio too, and we had one of our listeners put in the chat box, like what it's like when we travel to other locations, compared to Gloom games.
Oh, I mean, it's I mean, you always hope that you can go and you can have a big away crowd and that, or like to play against, and that there's a home court advantage that you can kind of come in and you can be like the, you know,
The spoiler.
quiet the crowd kind of mentality, and you can kind of come and kind of shush them and have that kind of respect of like coming into an away crowd. But unfortunately, there's not really any team that have a crowd like that. Unfortunately, that's like ours. So, you know, it's like when we go away, I always want to come back and play at home.
Yeah.
Even more. So hopefully, and hopefully that as futsal grows, the other crowds and, other teams, the crowds will get bigger and they'll kind of catch on to the league. Uh-oh.
I got you. You're still on.
Did I lose you?
Loud and clear.
Okay, cool. I mean, I was just saying, like, hopefully this futsal catches on in Phoenix, other places, the crowds will get a little bigger,
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one thing. We go back in time. It was our first year. It was the division championship game in Denver. Not sure how many people were there, but it was certainly the loudest game and probably the most intense game I've been a part of. We lost that game in penalty kicks. I think we were up 5-2.
I think I watched that.
Yeah, it was wild. I know Pato was there, Peter, Chili, Jorge, Chucky, Jeremy, Pressy was our assistant coach. That was an intense game, and we want to definitely get back to that championship game. Let's hit another question. Futsal news. The effort off the court is clear in Santa Fe. It's not a coincidence that you have such high attendance. So yeah, no, good looking out, Futsal news. Appreciate it. Again, you guys are welcome back on our podcast at any time. Coach Pat, give us a little sneak peek of season 4. And so that's one question. And then what type of Gloom player fits our system the best?
I think a technical player, right? I think you have to be technically really, really sound. And then on the other side, you have to want to do the dirty work. So you kind of, I mean, the best way to put it, and this is going to be maybe kind of blunt or curt, but it's dog mentality. And I think like some of the players that we're recruiting are they have that kind of competitive like streak in them, where they have a little chip and they want to come out and they want to prove themselves as a pro. And it also like we want guys that are pros. We want guys that take this as a pro level seriously, and they do this as a pro level. So they're doing the basics brilliantly. They're working on their own time. They're really bought in to what we're doing and their diet and like when they're working out and taking care of their bodies, and working with the ball and making sure they're at training every single time and, first one there, last one will leave kind of mentality. And I think the guys that we're bringing in, are definitely going to add to that culture that we've already kind of established, and I think, the roster that we're going to have this season is going to be I think it's going to be deeper. And I think we're going to, and I think offensively, defensively, we were pretty good down the stretch. And I think we did that solid. Dre, Brian, Peter, I mean, solid defensive, players. Offensively, I think we could use, some more firepower, and I think that's what we have coming in. So I think a little sneak peek of that, and some of the players that we have, coming in. I think people should be excited.
For sure. DJ Kiko, Fe Gloom.
Sergio and yourself have done a good job.
Oh yeah, yep. We're working hard at it. And we got a Vamos Gloom. And Pat, I know we're asking you questions tonight. We're going to show this question on the screen, but you can't answer it. Sorry. What formation are you going to play? From good old Sergio. Sergio, good question, but I'm not going to allow Coach Pat to let that out of the hat quite yet. So sorry, Sergio. Good question though. Sorry, Coach Pat.
I've already kind of talked about it.
Yeah,
we ran it a little bit at the end of the season last season. So if Sergio will remember that. So that should answer that question pretty well.
Look back at the tape, I guess. Let's see. Yeah. Let's pull up another question. We're super transparent. Sergio, you're bringing the heat tonight. Let's go, Sergio. Any key signings that you're really excited about that you can speak about if David allows it? Sergio, another good question. To our fans and viewers, yes, we're super excited about some signings. Super. But not quite yet. I think we're still tightening up that roster. I think we're still looking at a couple players. But I mean, we're pumped. We're so pumped.
Can I say a teaser?
No. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, we're gonna have to let our fans wait because we got some time. And shout out to our Gloom players too. Like last season's players, the players who are re-signing with us. Like we want you guys on this podcast. We want you guys out in the community. We got the World Cup viewing on Friday. Like so many exciting things for our players to get out to the community, meet our corporate partners, all of our sponsors, all of those things. So, Sergio, I love where your head is at. I love it. We're just not quite getting there quite yet. So, and no teasers. Futsal news, keep them wanting more. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think this is the thing is we have so much respect for our players who are signing with us right now that we want to offload this and land the plane in a really cool way and announcing these guys to the community. So a lot of these guys, a lot of our key players, they will be back. We want them back because they've earned it. But we want to definitely do it justice and get these guys fitted and introduction in the right way in Santa Fe.
I like it.
We know we've got Coach Pat back and we got Sergio back. That I can offload for sure. All right, Coach. What else you got? We've got a couple more minutes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Here we go. Man, our viewers are bringing it tonight. DJ Kiko, should we do a reality show?
Oh, Jesus.
Coach Pat, you can answer that.
Maybe with with the characters that we have and Kiko.
Yeah.
In some of our games.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Kiko, I mean, you do such an amazing job with the production with the Gloom, and I feel like it would be great to have like a camera crew follow us around with all the pregame. And, myself and DJ Kiko, we're talking weekly, at least weekly about how we're trying to like forecast these games and how we can put this together for the fans. So it doesn't just come automatically. Kiko, thanks. Sergio, what's the most exciting thing about being back for your second year as the head coach? Coach Pat, you can answer that one.
It's a good question. I think having an off season and being able to have the time of like just creating, kind of the culture that we want on the court and kind of how we play. And so it's exciting to build the way we finished. I wish we had like 2 more games, because man, we were playing so well and we were starting to really get it. And so if we had, maybe we ran out of time, we ran out of games. We didn't start the season like we should have. And so for coming in as for my second year, I want to build on those last games, and so and get back to where we were, so that we can continue on and just keep building and hopefully make it to a championship and go win it and make it to Michigan, and hopefully and do the fans and the city the justice that Gloom deserves. So I think that's the most exciting thing for sure.
Yeah, great question, Sergio. Coach Pat, good response. And I'll put an edit to your response too, Coach. And I don't know this yet, but the Nationals potentially could be in the Southwest this year too. Sometimes we flip it up. So last year was Michigan. I know we have the California division. So it could be potentially out there, which would be great. That'd be fun. Go out to California. But if it's in the Southwest, I feel like the Gloom could be in the running to host the national championship. And that's one of the things that would be amazing for Santa Fe, is if we were to host and win. That would be awesome. So
that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. So it's either going to be most likely in California or in the Southwest. So Southwest meaning Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Denver, Phoenix. So we're close. We're nearby.
That's good to know. That's good. That's a good thing to tell the players too, to know that from the off, like you're playing for you can almost play for a home championship, or at least a West championship, and know that going off bat that's what they could play for. It means a little bit more, I think, at least for me. So that's good to know. That's cool.
For sure. Tell us more about the World Cup viewing party. So that's going to be at the Rail Yard Friday night. We play Paraguay, I believe. It's hosted by Lenzig 360 and Northern Soccer Club. We'll have our tent there and just celebrating a United States 3-0 victory. How about that?
2-0.
That's right. Good question. And David, what's the biggest positive you've seen since adding Coach Pat? Sergio, good question. Man, I have one word. I have a couple words. First word that comes to mind is just discipline. That's what it is. I love that Coach Pat has that dog mentality. He wants to recruit players that are just willing to do what they need to do to score a goal, to defend. I think that's just the name of the game. And that's the type of player I was, especially in college. I played right midi, so I was just running up and down, up and down. I didn't, and that's the way I was able to play, because technically I wasn't that great to play in midfield at that level. That's what I played in club. But once I got to the college level, I was playing the right side, and that was just the way I got it done. I was just winning every ball, headers, doing what I had to do. I was kind of like Dennis Rodman, basically, out there. Discipline. And I love that Coach Pat, he does this full time, 365, 24/7. Like, he's thinking footy all the damn time. And I love that. Like, our Gloom fans and viewers and players, like, we're thinking Gloom all the time. So that's one thing I love about it. Let's see, closing out. One other question. Good question, Sergio. Heard a rumor that Gloom were playing at the ice skating rink. Spill the tea. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if that question is directed towards me or Coach Pat.
That's you, David. That's all you.
Yeah. I haven't heard that rumor. And to stand corrected too, it really never was a rumor, because we had an agreement with the city of Santa Fe to have our games there, until the city kind of decided that for bad reasons, in my opinion, that we weren't allowed. And that, and what I call it is an arena. It's really not necessarily, because that could be a multi-purpose space for local community members to have events or etc. But I have not heard that rumor. At the moment, we're super heavy on futsal. Arena soccer could be in the future, but I'll tell you this much. I know that I think our first game is going to be January 9th. We're going to have 500 people at that game. it's going to be overflowing at that Chavez Center. So we're going to let just the community speak for themselves, and the proof be in the pudding on what our next step is in terms of arena space. But good question, or a good comment. Coach Pat, thank you so much for jumping on. Love that trophy. I want to see a futsal national championship trophy in that room too. That would be awesome. That's the goal. I mean, we would be the first professional sports team to win a national championship in the state of New Mexico.
That is true. It's a good point.
Yeah. If New Mexico United doesn't do it first, I don't think the Isotopes never have. Albuquerque Dukes have.
I don't. Isotopes, you probably know more than me. New Mexico United, no.
You know, Albuquerque Flagship, they were one game away.
Albuquerque stole.
I don't think
they ever won.
Not national championship.
No. And then like the Chili's, they never won anything.
No. Man, the Chili's, huh? I didn't know you knew about the Chili's.
Yeah, man, I'm glad. I've been here for years, but I'm yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Well, and I used to coach with Manny Clark, so shout out Manny Clark. And
Okay.
He used to coach with Chili's, so that's how I know. But so.
All right, Coach Pat. Thank you so much to our fans and viewers and all the comments. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. We'll have another show next week. So closing out for the Santa Fe Gloom live podcast, I'm David Fresquez with Coach Pat. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.